Andrea Fortenberry is a writer, speaker, and Bible teacher. She is the host of The Perfectionist Guide to Mothering, a podcast that equips moms to find freedom from perfectionism and show up for the life God has for them. She is the author of 2-Minute Timeouts, 100 Devotions for Weary and Wonderful Days, published by Our Daily Bread publishers. She is on staff with MomCo as their leadership development manager and co-hosts the MomCo Leadership Podcast. Join us as Andrea, who lives by the C.S. Lewis quote of, "I believe in Christianity as I believe that the sun has risen, not only because I see it, but because by it I see everything else." Now, who wouldn't want to hear what she has to say? And she reminds us, no mom guilt allowed. Let's go. Welcome to She Leads Boldly, the podcast for faith-driven women navigating high-stakes leadership without compromising what matters most. I am Sherrika Sanders, your host, mentor, and kingdom business leader. Here, we embrace bold leadership rooted in purpose, not pressure. This space is for the woman who refuses to choose between faith and ambition, family and fulfillment, impact and rest. Each week, you'll hear powerful conversations, practical strategies, and spirit-led wisdom to help you advocate for yourself, lead with integrity, and rise without burnout. If you're ready to lead boldly, live faithfully, and never settle for less than what God has promised, you're in the right place. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am Sherrika Sanders, and I am enlightened, excited, and just really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have. Before I mention our amazing guests, just from the patience and grace that she has shown me over these last couple of months, I know that those listening will feel that same spirit come through as we have this conversation. So I already just want to say thank you, Andrea, and welcome to She Leads Boldly.
Thank you, Sherrika. I'm just really excited. We are here. We made it happen after several attempts to do this before. So we're here. This was the appointed time.
And exactly, like, I kind of mentioned, I'm excited for the conversation. I know there's something here that needs to be heard, some things that need to be said. And I say that because, as you just alluded to, we were supposed to have this conversation months ago.
Right.
And just life doing what it does, I have had to reschedule quite a few times. But Andrea has continued to show me grace and, no apologies. I get it. I understand. And I think it's honestly a testament to what she does and who she is. And even today, because I was late today. And now just so I'm typically the person who, my husband's the person, if we have to be somewhere, like, I feel like we have to unlock the doors. Like he's going to be there early. We, before the staff, we're getting there early. For me, I'm like, I don't want to have to wait and waste my time. So I'm going to get there at the time, or maybe a few minutes before, just enough time for me to sit down, catch my breath, and now let's go, everybody. But typically for these conversations, because I like for them, I can appreciate how the Holy Spirit shows up. And I feel like the Holy Spirit does each time. And just the things that we say and how our conversations go, I like to make sure that I'm already in my quiet space and, whatever notes I have are here and ready, and really just able to completely focus and give my undivided attention to our conversation, because of I want those listening to feel fed. I want them to feel like, I heard this and this is exactly what I needed at this moment in time. And so having and I always say, I didn't say it this time because I'm trying to stop saying excited. I need to learn more synonyms. Because I always like, I'm so excited about who, but that's how I feel today because I feel like you've shown up and who you are. One of the main things you said was like, no mom guilt. And
Mm.
you've shown me that. It's one thing to say it, but it's about practicing what they say, practice what you preach. But you said it, you wrote it rather, and then you've shown me that grace, that same grace in how you're showing up. So that just like it made me even more excited about our conversation today.
Oh, well, I appreciate that. And like you said, it's real life. And as moms who are leaders and juggling many things, there are going to be those times where we are planning on something and then someone is sick or someone needs a ride and you're getting text, Mom, I need this thing. And you're like, okay, and you have to just make
Mhm.
those split decisions in the moment. And I was the one last time who I needed to reschedule because I think it was my son's birthday, which was totally fine. But then also I was going out of town the next day and I was like, you know what? I just need to reschedule so I can be present and show up
Yeah,
well. And so
yeah.
what helps me to give grace is just remembering how much I need it, and sometimes that it's my turn to be the one to need to receive it. So that is helpful.
Yeah, you're right. And you know what I can appreciate about what you just said even more. Sometimes we feel like if we don't do all the things and showing up for everybody for their stuff, and then we put ourselves on the back burner and it's okay because I need to this, that, and for them. And then we get tired and decide we want to take a nap. And it's almost like, you know, what am I doing taking a nap? I could be washing dishes. I could be, washing clothes. I could be, cleaning up the bathroom. I could be helping, whatever, all of these 15 different things that, and I know for me, I'll speak for me. I had a really, really hard time when it was be time to maybe like take a nap, or if I was tired to sit down and you know what, I just want to watch mindless TV, any of those things. If it wasn't something that, so I used to tell myself, well, you get to watch TV, like almost like punishing myself. You get to watch, if you want to watch something on TV, then you can watch it if you're putting up clothes. But if you're not putting up the clothes or doing the laundry, then you're wasting time and need to be doing something else. And I felt for years, I felt like, what's wrong with that? Like, yes, I'm being productive. I'm doing this for my
Yeah.
family. I don't get just to sit down and do nothing. And you're even saying that just now is a reminder for like, well, why not?
Right. Right. I think sometimes as women, as moms, we believe that rest is a reward for a job well done or for when our to-do list is completely empty. But have you ever had your to-do list be completely empty? I haven't. It's like
No.
I'll in a day I'll check three things off and five more things get added. And it's just
Yes, yes.
never going to be zero. And I've learned that we have to reframe that view, that it really
Hmm.
is rest is really the fuel that will enable us to keep going with the loving
Hmm.
and serving and pouring out every day.
Hmm.
But when we neglect that, or when we feel all this guilt or shame that we need to rest, then we just live really in this defeated posture. And also, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can take on like that martyr mentality of like, I'm the one doing everything around here and nobody's helping and I don't get
Yes.
to rest. And it's like, well, part of why is I don't give myself permission to
Yeah.
rest. But
Yep.
when we remember that Jesus invites us to rest. He models for us what rest looks like in the
Hmm.
midst of ministry and serving and loving others. And it's possible. It's possible to have both. And again, for it to be what keeps us going and able to love and serve people well.
Yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it makes me think of self-care is not selfish.
Yep.
It's a commandment to rest. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. Like it's
Hmm.
rest. And Priscilla Shire actually has a book called Breathe. And I don't remember the subtitle, but it's Breathe. And one of the things she says in the book, because ultimately that's what it's, kind of talking about. But one of the things that she says in the book is take I don't remember the percentage, but it's like 14 minutes out of your day. and just doing that, just being quiet, just center. Because what we also don't realize is a lot of times that's how we receive our next steps. That's how we receive the answer to the thing either we're praying about or we can't figure out, is when we take a step back and allow God to pour into us. Because I don't care what your beliefs are or are not, you cannot pour from you literally cannot pour from an empty cup.
Right, 100%. I use that analogy a lot because it's so true. It's like the best visual. We try to do it, but when we
Right.
actually imagine and have that metaphor, it's like, oh, that's so right. Why do I try to do that?
Mhm. Mhm. You can't do it.
Yeah.
And we do get caught up in, oh my, I'm being selfish if I say no, to someone about doing something for them, or if I can't do it right now because, maybe I'm doing something for myself first. Like I remember telling my husband once, like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that and all these other things. And, and, all, and trying to get all of these things done, and you're not. And he's like, but you don't have to do it either. Like what?
Right.
And it
Right.
aggravated me, but it also freed me at the same time, because it was like, you don't either. Like, and he would always tell me, like, sit down, what are you doing now?
Right.
And I'd be like, oh, because I need to do this. Oh, I forgot about that over there. Well, I went to go do this and then I remembered about that. And so he would be like, just sit down. And he's like, you don't have to do it either. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Oh,
And
you're right.
right. And then I was like, because I'm like, watch, if I ask him to do it, I'm like, so I'm going to need help with the laundry then. And somebody, if you can do this, then if you get the clothes separated, I'll get them washed. And he was like, okay. Oh,
Right. Oh, all I had to do was ask.
right. So that's all it, oh.
Yeah, I really think that as Christian women, we think that saying no means we're not being loving or asking for help means we're weak. But again, when we look at what scripture tells us, yes, Jesus calls us to love and serve and sacrifice, but also he tells us to have boundaries and let our yes be yes and our no be no. And
Yes.
our boundary lines that he puts for us have fallen in pleasant places, right? So boundaries are not bad. Not every job is ours to do. And so we should just really remember that. And then also, if we are the ones saying yes to everything, then we're taking away opportunities for other people to step in and say yes and be a blessing. So we really have to be careful, and really we rely on prayer and the Holy Spirit to discern, is this my turn to say yes? If it's like, needs that come up with friends or family members or kind of those unexpected things of life, but even in our normal rhythm. So, for example, my son, who's a sophomore in high school, he just went back to school. And so now it's football season. Like the booster club is asking for all the help. Bible studies
Yes.
are starting at my church and all of these things. And I really get tempted to sign up for all the things and to be there to help and to contribute. But I've learned through experience as my kids have gotten older, like I have to really be careful about what I say yes to and not say yes to. Even like two things can be too many things sometimes because
Mm-hmm.
it just becomes too much and overwhelming. And then there's all the regular things of life and my work and all of that. So we just have to be really discerning about the yeses and nos we give. And if it's a no, we don't need to over apologize or feel
Yeah.
all this guilt or
Yep.
shame. We
Yep.
can trust that God will provide someone else to help, or that
Yep.
the need will be met in some other way if it's not our time, if it's not within those healthy boundaries that we have in our lives.
Quick break in our conversation. If you're listening to today's episode and realizing that your public success is quietly costing you your private peace, I want you to know that you do not have to keep carrying the invisible weight alone. You are created to lead boldly, but you were never meant to pay for your career with your marriage, your health, or your sanity. At Transform the Gap, We work directly with executive Christian women, business owners, and high capacity leaders through signature group cohorts, self paced digital frameworks, and bespoke one on one advisory. We help you establish ironclad boundaries, protect your home from chronic burnout, and transition from constant striving into sustainable authority. When you are ready to close the gap between where you excel publicly and how you flourish privately, visit us at Transform the Gap, that's GAAP.com. Select the pathway or advisory option that fits your current season and let us take the next strategic step together. Again, that's Transform the Gap, GAAP.com. Now, let's get back to the episode. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It makes me think of the person who's like, Lord, there's so much on my plate. I'm so overwhelmed. I need some help. I've been asking, talking to I've been asking you, and you're not sending me help, and I don't know what's wrong. All of the just crying out. And then it's like, but I didn't tell you to do half of that.
Right.
You raised your hand for that. I didn't tell you, I didn't convict you, I didn't, like, there was
Right.
nothing stirring in your spirit. You did that to you.
Right.
And so yes, he'll help us. Yes, he'll find a way, allow us to have people to help take those things off of our plate if we truly surrender it to him. But oftentimes we're complaining about things that he never told us to do anyway, or he may have said, it's too much, you have too much going on right now,
Mm-hmm.
or remember about this, remember about that. And we'll even
Mm-hmm.
say, oh well, I have to do this, and then I need to go there, and but I think I can figure it out, or I'll squeeze it in. And it's like, he brought all of those things to your remembrance for a
Right.
reason,
Right.
and you called them all out and then completely disregarded it and still signed up or accepted the thing. And but it's we, you said it, we often take on much more than we should, when it could be someone else's. That could be a job for somebody else, or that meeting or that appointment could have been God's way of speaking to them, but now we've intervened and jumped
Right.
in to save the day when it wasn't our day to save. And then now wondering why, we're feeling overwhelmed.
Right.
And it's honestly about, when we think about being a good steward, a lot of times, goodness, it's related to finances, but
Mm-hmm.
it's being a good steward over our time as well, our
Yes.
yes and our no's. And like you said, let your no be no. You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to go into, well, last week the dog got out, and then this happened, and then we went here, and then my car, and so that's why I can't
Right.
take you to the store right now. And it's like, you could have just said, no, I'm not
No.
able to, or I can't do it. Like, now you're wasting my time because I had to listen to all of this when that was irrelevant. But it's, just let the no be no,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and allow someone else to step up, because you don't know what the assignment is that God has for them that you may be stepping in the midst of. Or you may not, God may want to show up for that person in a particular way, and but he needs them to get the no's in order to do that. But now
Right.
you've come in, mom save America, and now you have to step in and save the day. And God's like, okay, let me maybe next time, like, I'm trying to teach a
Yeah.
lesson, I'm trying to help them, I'm trying to bring them, I'm trying to build my relationship with them, and I can't because you won't move.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of step outside of ourselves sometimes and think about, like, am I hurting, am I helping? And then, is the reason that I'm helping about, is it really about them, or is it about me?
Oh, that's good. That's good. Because we can really make it about us. Like you're saying, like, I want to save the day. I want to get the
Mm-hmm.
credit. I want people to see that I stepped in and did whatever it is. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Pride is a real thing. Pride is a real thing.
Yes. 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 And I remember someone said once before, and I was like, oh, that's good. And they were like, and I say it now all the time, but it's not mine. If you heard me say it, it's not mine. I got it from someone else. But they were saying, how prideful are we to think that we need to be available for anybody, 24/7,
Mhm.
when God rested. He only
Right.
worked 6 days, but you're needed 24/7. So are you more important than God? And it was
Right.
like, oh, like I never thought about it like that. I
I
thought I was,
often,
yeah, go
yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I will often tell myself, like when I find that I'm checking my phone too often, like if I'm driving and I get to a stoplight and I just pull it out, I try to tell myself, Andrea, you are not a brain surgeon. Like no one is needing to get a hold of you immediately, or like that there will be a message that you have to drop what you're doing and head to the hospital to do surgery.
Right,
Like I feel
right.
like that's the only,
Mm-hmm,
emergency surgeons are the only
mm-hmm.
people that need to constantly check their phone, and yet we all do it all the time. And so I try to, tell myself that as a joke, but also just as a reality check of like, hey, you need to have a little bit of healthy balance and
Yeah,
boundary as it comes to that,
yeah.
because
And
you're not God.
even I'll even I love that you said you said that because I used to always tell people, so my background is in accounting. I was in corporate accounting for over 15 years, and I would always tell people that I felt like I always needed to be available. Like I was the EMT of accounting. Like, oh my
Mhm.
gosh, somebody needs to complete this spreadsheet right now. I have to do it.
Yeah.
And just like, but it's numbers. Like they're still going to be there. They'll still be the same. Like,
In the
calm
morning.
down.
Yeah.
Right. Right. You're balancing. You're not like nobody's asking you to sign off on $1 million something right now at 2 o'clock in the morning and like calm
Right.
down. But I it's funny now, but then it was like, no, I have to do, I have to show up, I have to do this
Mhm.
and all of these things. And was honestly going towards burnout, but I couldn't understand why because I'm like, well, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. I'm doing my job well, sacrificing sleep and all the things that I need, but I'm still showing up to the appointments and to the games for the kids and oh, my husband wants to watch this movie. Yep, we'll watch the movie. It's okay. I can get back online at midnight after the movie's over. And it's like, but do you really have to?
Right.
Like who told you that you had to? Who put
Right.
that on you? And oftentimes if we really sit down and think, and if we don't know, if we take it to God and say, help me see where this comes from, oftentimes we can see that it is prideful and it's not intentional pride,
Hmm.
but we've gotten to the point of finding our validation in other people's praise to the
Mm.
point that and when we're not doing anything, we feel less than, or now we start to question our worth because wait, they can function without me. They
Right.
can put their own clothes in the machine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no, you're totally right, whether that's at work or at home. Like I think a lot of us as leaders do crave that affirmation, that praise, that validation, but it's really tricky because again, it's God who gives us our
Yeah.
validation and our
Yes.
worth and
Yes.
our identity. But we hear all these messages and we live on earth where culture tells us other things. And so we want to be noticed by our boss. We want people
Mm-hmm.
to see that we're a good mom. And so we're trying to do all these things. And then we can get to the point of burnout and doing things for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
But when we really stay anchored to our why, when we are spending time with God, when we are in the Word, like it helps us. We're not going to be perfect ever,
Yeah.
of course, but it helps us to make better decisions, to have better boundaries, and to realize that we are actually not as important as we think we are, right? Like we are
Mm-hmm.
replaceable in our job. We're,
Mm-hmm.
at home, that's different. Like we're the mom to our kids and the wife to our spouse and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But in a lot of areas at the PTA, the football booster, all of
Mm-hmm.
those things, like we are
Yep.
replaceable. Someone
Yes.
else can come in and that's actually good and
Yeah.
healthy so that we don't have to stay there forever, right? Like there are
Mm-hmm.
seasons to things. I was thinking about that as we were talking earlier
Yes.
about when to know to say yes or no, is there are seasons. So you might have a season in your life where you have some space to say yeses, but there might be seasons where you're like, nope, we need to cut out things because these other things are going on. So
Yep.
again, it's
Mm-hmm.
really this trial and error, this discernment of, okay, I said yes to too many things last time, so this time I'm not going to say yes to anything, or I say yes to one thing. Or at work, again, I'm not going to get up at 2 a.m. to look at the spreadsheet
Right.
after
Right.
we watched a movie hanging out as a family. Like that's not healthy. I'll look at it in the morning. And a
Hmm.
big component of this is trust. Trusting that
Yes.
God will take care of things that whether that's timing or again by providing someone else to help. Like so often we don't trust him. And I feel like
Yeah.
those are the times when we fumble in taking on too much, getting to the point of burnout, doing things for the wrong reasons. It's when we're not
Hmm.
not trusting him.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. That's so good because oftentimes we may go to God with our all of these things, all of these burdens that we may feel are on us. And, you know, but I'm the only one who can do it. And there isn't anybody else that I can ask, or there isn't anyone else that I can call on. But at and we say we're surrendering, but we still kind of have our hands on it. Lord, I'm going to give it to you, but I need you to make sure you do it this way.
Right.
And completely surrendering. And you said it, and that's a major, major word, so simple yet so hard for us to do, which is trust to say, if I take my hands off of this, or, Lord, if I give this to you, I need you to take complete control. Help me to take it away from me and then show me how to like really step away from it and then trust that he'll do that. But we get so caught up in, Lord, I need you to I have to, I have to help the baby. They don't know how to walk. And so then the baby starts to pull up and they try to take a step and there you catch them. Oh, they were going to fall.
Right.
Well, maybe, but guess what? Then they'll get back up or then
Right.
they'll learn that it's not so bad and then they learn. So but we have to step in and we just have to put our hands on it. And that trust is when we have a complete and total trust is when we can say, you know what, I can take my hands off of it and I know that God will provide, or I know that God will make a way. Taking our hands off it may be not saying yes to that overtime and trusting that God will still make a way. He'll still give provision for the things you need, and you have that quality time with your family that's needed versus, working the extra hours or committing to all of these other external things while your family, because someone said this recently, a recent guest, we were talking about marriage, but I feel like it applies in so many different areas. And she says that yes means you're saying no to a lot of other
Mhm.
things. And so when
Right.
you're saying, yes, you know what? I can stay later. Then what all are you saying no to? Are you saying no to maybe seeing your kids before they go to bed at night? Are you saying no to possibly spending quality time with your spouse? Are you saying no to getting your reading in every night that God has called you to do before you go to bed or having your own prayer time? So you're saying yes. When we sometimes, if we think about it like that, maybe before we say yes, how many no's? What are all of the no's that come with this yes? I feel like that should really make us pause and say, wait a minute, hold on. Maybe this thing needs to be the no because I need
Right.
to give that yes to something else that has a higher priority.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
Counting the cost is important.
yeah, yes, yes, absolutely. This is great. I've so enjoyed this conversation, and I feel like we could go on and on because there's so many different things and so many different areas, especially when we think about moms and not only being a mom, but whatever version is season, I guess I'll say, of
Mhm.
mothering you're in right now, whether that's multiple kids, whether it's one child, whether it's, a mom who's also taking care of a household with maybe aging parents, or whether it's a married mom or a single mom or a dog mom, whatever version of mom you show up as, making sure that you understand number one that your value isn't based on what you do on your output, because
Mhm.
regardless of what you do in a day, you are still prime property to God.
Mhm.
You are still an heir, you are still his child, whether you had a day full of, you ran a few lights. I got angry at a couple of people in traffic. I probably said something that I shouldn't have to someone at work. He didn't say, oh, that's a little bit. Now your value is gone less and less and less. No, we'll have to
Right.
repent for those things. But he didn't, it didn't impact our value in the way that he sees us. And thankfully, he can see us beyond all of the mess. And in spite
Right.
of all of the mess and unnecessariness that we tend to put on ourselves. But I just, before we head off, two things. One, if there are any final thoughts for those listening, and specifically the moms listening, number one. And then number two, that's number two. Number one, can you tell us more about the Perfectionist Guide to Mothering podcast and where we can find it?
Yeah.
And then, if there are any final thoughts or anything.
Absolutely. Yes. So I'm the host of the Perfectionist Guide to Mothering, a podcast to help moms get rid of mom guilt and unrealistic expectations, those things that we put on ourselves. And I love to encourage moms in these areas because these are things that I have struggled with and God has taught me. And I enjoy having conversations with amazing guests to just bring us encouragement and the reminder that we're not going to be perfect, but God doesn't expect us to. He wants to partner with us in motherhood, and He fills in all the gaps of our imperfections. So you can find it wherever you listen to podcasts. It's also on YouTube for the video version. And I've been doing it about 6 years now, and I really enjoy getting to encourage moms through the podcast.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And then final thoughts. I just want you to think about really what we talked about. Just to summarize, is that you are loved, you are worthy, you are chosen and validated because God created you and He loves you.
Mm,
And no matter what we do or don't do in a day, none of that changes. Our identity and our worth does not hinge upon the good things we did or the mess ups we had. Like we were talking about accounting, the accounting never changes. It's
right,
always
right,
it's always the
right.
same. And so we're going to have moments as women who are navigating motherhood and leadership and working or inside or outside the home. We're going to have moments where we mess up or where we make mistakes. And that's how we learn. That's how we grow. And we don't need to shame ourselves and beat ourselves up with self-condemnation. Condemnation is not from the Lord. Conviction, yes, but not condemnation. And so
Mm,
we need to just try to look to Him again, trust Him to fill in those gaps and to remember that this is hard work He's called us to raising families and to leading and loving people. It's some days it's great and easy, but other days it's really challenging. And so know that if you are having a day that's challenging, you are normal and
mhm.
and you are human and you are not alone because we're all in it together. So just keep going, keep doing what God has called you to do, rely on Him, have those healthy boundaries, and remember that rest is not a reward for a job well done. It's going to be the fuel that helps you to keep going and pouring and
Mm,
loving and serving others well.
yes, I love that. Thank you for the reminders, reminding us who we are in Him, that we are His
Right.
daughters. And
Yeah.
so if we think about the love that we have for our kids, the love that He has for us is so much greater.
Yes.
And would you want to see your child showing up the way that you're showing up right now? And so it's definitely a reminder to kind of take a step back. And if you're, unsure, take it to God and ask Him how to
Mhm.
navigate. But I appreciate that. I appreciate a safe space dedicated just to moms, a place for them to go and listen and feel seen and feel heard and know that they're not navigating this by themselves. Know that they're not doing this alone, and oh, you experienced that too. Yep, absolutely. So thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for the grace that you have given me. I have enjoyed our conversation. I know that there's so many more nuggets outside of the ones that we've heard here today that are available for you all to listen to as well on the Perfectionist Guide to Mothering podcast. So please join Andrea there. And for us, it's never goodbye, but until next time.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Hey friend, if this episode stirred something in you, don't keep it to yourself. Make sure you subscribe to She Leads Boldly so you never miss an episode. And let's stay connected. Join our growing community of faith-driven powerhouse women where you'll find real talk, encouragement, and tools to fuel your journey. Oh, and I've created something special just for the bold, faith-driven women like you. An ebook, When You Know His Name. Discover identity, intimacy, and the power of prayer through the names of God. This ebook is designed to equip and encourage you to lead with clarity, courage, and conviction in every space God assigns you to. Available now on Amazon. And if you're ready for deeper clarity, I would love to personally walk with you. I offer a one-on-one session called Your Path to Purpose and Power, and it's to help you break through the overwhelm and realign with what God is actually calling you to in this season. Whether it's burnout, boundaries, or fresh vision, you don't have to figure it out alone. All links are in the show notes. Oh, and one last thing. I would love to hear from you. What questions are you carrying this season? What topics would serve your walk, your work, your womanhood right now? Send me a message or an email because this podcast is for you, and I want every episode to speak directly to where you are. Remember, you don't have to choose between your faith, your family, and the calling on your life. God's grace makes room for it all. So until next time, stay anchored in purpose, covered in grace, and always ready to rise. Talk soon, friend.